So let's continue our discussion, no? Earlier, okay, ito katatapos lang, Sir Art discussed the Philippine income tax system about the regulations about taxes. How does the government collect the tax from the private sectors? So here I'm going to discuss the concept of income. So in this topic, we're going we're going to discuss the income, the types of income, and what are those income which is taxable and non-taxable. So we're going to talk about how are the gross incomes of individual and corporations should be taxable. Okay? So here, as you can see, what are the inclusions of the gross income? So Article Section 32A of the Tax Code of the Philippines, there are inclusions, or there are some income that should be included as part of the gross income of an individual and corporation should be taxable. Okay, and later we're going to discuss the non-taxable incomes. As you can see, so what are those inclusions in the gross income? So under the Section 32A of the tax code, all income for whatever sources are included as taxable, but not limited to the following items. When you talk about individual and business income or corporate incomes, we have 5 types of income. We have the compensation income, which is these are the individual income of the individuals. Profession or business income, that is the income from the business and even an individual by profession. We have also the capital gains. When it comes to we sell a property that is subject to tax, the income that came from the sale of property is also capital gain. While the passive incomes, okay, those are that's why passive, those are the income generated through the interest or the capital. And even the profession income, partners, those are the partnership business that distribute share from the, from the income of general professional partnership. When you say profession income, or if you are a doctor or engineer or any form, a lawyer, they establish their own business to practice their profession. For whatever income that they practice on their profession, that we call it as profession income. Okay? So those are the 5 types of income, but we're going to discuss here the taxable and non-taxable incomes. Okay, so let's discuss it one by one. Okay, so let's proceed here. Let's proceed to the gross compensation income. So how do we define the gross compensation income? Gross compensation income, it talks about the remuneration or payment to an individual who renders the services. And compensation income is derived or obtained by the employer-employee relationship. So if the individual is an employee and work in a particular company or work in the employer, the compensation income for every payment of the employer to the employee, that we call it as a compensation income. So a compensation income may be the wage or the salary, the percentage of profit, or the basis of a piece work income, or a salary or the wage. So that will be the compensation income. And compensation income has the following classification. Iisa-isahin natin yan, no? We have 16 or a lot of forms of compensation income. And we're going to discuss here what are the gross compensation income or the compensation income which is taxable and non-taxable. Okay, so let's proceed to the salary or wage. What is the difference of the salary and wage? The salary, these are the earnings of an employee received periodically for a regular work or other than manual labor. So example of the basic salary is computed as a fix on a monthly basis. Example nyan, if you are working as an office specialist and your rate is 20,000 monthly, it is computed on a monthly basis, that we call it as a salary. While the wage, these are the earnings received usually according to the specified intervals of work. Usually, it was computed by hour, day, or a week. So, ibig sabihin yan, di ba yung wages, this type of compensation are computed on a daily or hourly rate. Example, di ba, in the Philippine labor law, we have the minimum wage to the employees of 650 per day, no? If I'm mistaken, for NCR. So that will be the 650 a day. That will be the wage, or it is computed based on the per day or per hour. Okay, that's the difference between salary and wage. The salary and wage are taxable income. For whatever salary that you get, for whatever wage that you get, that is subject to tax. Kaya lang, ito medyo i-update ko lang ito i-update lang natin itong wage and salary na to kasi this is the old rule when it comes to salary and wage. And in the train law or the tax reform acceleration and inclusion, sa wage and salary, if the income or if the annual income of an employee is 250,000 below, that is not subject to tax. Take note, we say annual, sa isang taon. O diba, let's say, salary muna tayo. If you're earning 15,000 monthly times 12, so what is the annual income for that? Can you please tell me? Can you please? Let's say 15,000 monthly times 12. So that's 180,000. So 180,000 annual is not subject to tax anymore under the train law. Kasi meron tayong mga tinatawag na tax rate computation. But still we're discussing now, we're still discussing the old tax code, no, para maintindihan nyo rin. But still, the basic salary and wage is part of the taxable income. But under the train law, if the individual is earning 250,000 above, that is subject to tax. Okay, so honoraria or honorarium. What is an honorarium or honoraria? Okay, the honorarium, this is the additional payment given in recognition of services performed for which establish a practice that discourage charging a fixed fee. So honorarium, this is an additional payment to an individual in recognition of a service that do for the company. An example of honorarium, if you are invited as a guest speaker or a lecturer for a particular training or a seminar, and they will give you a talent fee of 5,000, that we call it as honorarium. And honorarium is also subject to tax. It should be included as part of the gross compensation income of an individual. Another is the fixed or variable allowance. And what are the fixed or variable allowance? This is received by the public officer, even the public and private employee. And this fixed or variable allowance, these are the additional to regular compensation or the basic salary. It is mandated by law that the variable allowance must be included or addition to the regular compensation. Example, if you earning 15,000 monthly as a basic, then there is addition of the variable allowance. An example of that is the cost of living allowance or the COLA. The cost of living allowance, it talks about the transportation allowance, representation allowance, or the cost living allowance. Let's say if you're earning 15,000 monthly, then the employer or the company gives you a 1,000 cost of living allowance, 1,000 monthly. So that 1,000 monthly cost of living allowance, which is part of your basic salary, so lumalabas, if you have the basic salary of 15,000 plus the cost of living allowance of 1,000, therefore that's 16,000 na. Diba? Kaya nga sabi, addition to regular compensation, and cost of living allowance is also subject to tax. Okay? Okay, if these allowances are not part of the compensation package but merely incurred by the employee in the performance of his duties, either these allowances or reimbursements, these allowances are not part of the taxable gross compensation income. O ito sabi rito if there are fixed or variable allowance which is not part, take note it's not part of the compensation package or it's not addition to the compensation, such as the cash advances or the reimbursement. Ano bigyan tawag na reimbursement? Let's say, an employee, a manager or an employee buys let's say example, the manager conducting a meeting to a client. Let's say yung kinain ng client, yung lunch meeting, let's say ginastos ni manager, nilibre si client ng pagkain na let's say 500. And 500 is not of the cost of living allowance or the variable allowance as part of the income of the manager. So ano yung 500 na yon? That is not part of the compensation income of the manager, and it should be reimbursed to the company. Binigay lang yung resibo para nag-abono siya, nilagay yung resibo doon sa accounting, and then they will reimburse the 500 he spent on the lunch meeting with the client. Hindi part ng income na yon. So yon, when it comes to that kind of allowance that was not part of the income, that is not subject to tax, or shall we say non-taxable. Okay, so sabi nga dito, it is ordinary and necessary traveling in representation of the entertainment expenses paid or incurred by the employee in the pursuit of employee's trade, business, or profession. And the employee is required to account, liquidate, or forgo expenses. Kasi there are some expenses which is budgeted by the company and subject for liquidation. Kung wala mang binigay, kung nag-abono man muna yung empleyado or if the employee is nag-abono muna doon sa nagastos niya when it comes to business meetings or business activities, pwede niya ito ipa-reimburse. And those allowances which is not part of the compensation income is not subject to tax. Kaya nga sabi rito, yung excess amount nun ng nagastos, it should be the budget, it should be returned to the employer. Okay, yun ang difference ha. I repeat, if the allowance is part and addition to the compensation income, that is subject to tax. If the allowance is not addition to the basic salary or to the compensation, that is not subject to tax. That's the difference. Okay, the commission. What is a commission? It's the percentage of total sale of a certain quota of sales volume as a part of the incentive of the employee. Kung if you are selling a property or selling a product of the company and you reach the quota, and that is called it as commission. And commission on sales, that is also subject to tax. Dapat dinedeclare siya as compensation income and it's subject to tax. Fees. And what are the fees? Okay, the fees, this is received by an employee for the services rendered to the employer, including the director's fee of the company in the performance of official duties over the above their regular salaries. Ano ba yung tinatawag na fee na yan? Ito yung binayad sa kanya na nirender niya on the part of the employer as which is not beyond of his regular salary that he or she gets. Example nga, yung tinatawag na director's fee or naging consultant siya. Di ba? That is also called it as fee, and that is part of the gross compensation income and is subject to tax. Okay, next, tips and gratitudes. The tips and gratitudes, tips and tips, di ba? Ito yung mga pagdatuwa yung mga customers sa mga employees, di ba? Ito yung binibigay na parang natuwa, nagbigay siya ng tip, di ba? Yung tinatawag na tips and gratitudes. It is paid directly to the employer which are not accounted for the employee to the employer. Itong mga tips na to, that is also subject to tax. Dinedeclare din yan. Diba? Kaya lang paano malalaman ito na may natanggap silang tip? Kasi there are times na there are some companies na bawal talaga ang tip. Pero there are some companies allow the tip, pero kahawak nito ay yung manager or the accounting. They're the one to give it, and then it will be included to their income, to their compensation. Okay, yun. Next, the hazard or emergency pay. This is the additional payment received due to workers' exposure to danger or harm while working. Diba, example niya sa mga nurse. Diba, mga bank tellers. Meron sila tinatawag na hazard allowance. Yung hazard allowance na yon or emergency allowance na yon, just in case kasi may mga trabaho na risky eh. Diba, example sa mga bank tellers, yung mga roving tellers, risky yon. Kasi pwede silang ma-hold up anytime. Kaya binibigyan sila ng allowance o emergency o hazard in case na nagkaroon ng problema in case of unexpected events. Diba? Especially if your jobs is exposed to danger or it will lead to harm. Diba? Yung mga nurses, may emergency allowance din yan because alam naman natin we are in the pandemic and the virus is really seriously, di ba? Pwedeng habang nagtatrabaho yung mga medical workers ay pwede silang mahawa ng sakit. Kaya naman may additional sila doon sa kanilang salary, which is the hazard allowance, and that is also included in the compensation income, and that is also subject to tax. Okay, retirement pay, ito. The retirement pay, okay, when the employee, or take note, when the employee has been rendered a year of service or a tenure from the company, that is also subject to tax. Kaya lang, but, sabi nga dito, the retirement pay is a lump sum payment received by an employee who has served a company for a considerable period of time. Yung sinasabi ko nga. And has decided to withdraw from work into privacy. Ibig sabihin yan, kapag siya ay nag-retire na, let's say they rendered a number of years in the company, hindi siya nag-resign. They filed a retirement. And that retirement is subject to tax, di ba? Kaya lang, sabi nga dito, in general, retirement pay is taxable. Meron tayong tinatawag na exemption. There are retirement pay which is not subject to tax. And what are those? Example, the SSS or the GSIS retirement pays. The SSS, those are the Social Security system or the retirement if the employee retires in the private sector. Hindi siya subject to tax. Ang GSIS naman, if you are a government employee and you file for a retirement, for age or the number of years in the government, that is also not subject to tax. Taxable exemption yan. Hindi tinataksan yan. Ang retirement pay lang na hindi covered, ang retirement pay na to na binigay ng company sa kanya as not part of the SSS or as not part of the statutory benefits, that is subject to tax. Okay, the retirement pay in accordance to Republic Act 7461, ito due to old age. Pag sabing due to old age, pag matanda na, kasi meron tayong batas na pwede pang mag-retire, ang maximum age na pwede mag-retire ang isang empleyado, whether you are in the government or in the private, at the age of 65. Kung 60 years old, pwede naman siya mag-retire as early retirement, pero kung ayaw pa niya, maximum na talaga yung 65. Maximum na yon. Di ba? Whether the employee or whether the employee like it or not, ano na yun, sapilitan na siya ang mag-retire pag 65. Yung sinasabi dito. Kaya nga dito, and those retirement pay in accordance with Republic Act 7641, that is not subject to tax provided that the retirement program of the employer or to its employees are approved by the BIR Commissioner. It must be reasonable benefit plan and its implementation must be fair and equitable for the benefit of employees. And the retiree should have been employed for 10 years in the said company. Kung nag-work ang isang empleyado ng 10 years or more than 10 years in the company at doon inabot ng old age na 65 o 60, yung retirement pay niya is not subject to tax. Okay? And if the retiree should have been at least 50 years old at the time of retirement. Naka 10 years na siya, naka 50 years, pwede na siyang mag-retire. Pero that is not subject to tax. Sa private company yon. Pero sa bylaw naman, talaga if you are in the 60 or 65, yun talaga yung age na retiring. Okay? And it should have been availed for the first time. Kung hindi siya nag-avail ng retirement ever since, di ba, yun yung ano niya ng retirement from the company, kumbaga walang ibang dineclare na retirement, that is not subject to tax. Pero halimbawa, nag-retire ng maaga, tapos nagtrabaho sa ibang kumpanya, may retirement din doon, dalawa na yung retirement niya. Di ba? Sabi, isa lang ang retirement. Yung pangalawang retirement niya sa ibang kumpanya, that is subject to tax na. Yung ibig sabihin nun. Okay, separation pay. Okay, separation pay is taxable, di ba? Ano ba yung separation pay? If the employee is voluntary terminated, ibig sabihin niya, nag-resign. Di ba? Pag nag-resign siya, take note, pag nag-resign siya, voluntarily or voluntarily terminated from the company, yung naiiwan pa niyang mga last pay o yung mga pinasok pa niya na kanyang susweldohin, that is ang tawag doon ng separation pay. And those compensation from separation pay, if it is the employee is resigned, that is subject to tax. But, take note if the separation pay should not be taxable or it should be a non-taxable if the employee is involuntary avail. Pag sabing involuntary, hindi siya nag-resign. Ano yung mga examples noon na tinatawag na involuntary? Namatay yung empleyado. Makakapagbabayad pa ba ng buwis yun? Hindi na, di ba? Sickness. Kapag may malubang sakit, di ba, involuntary yun, talagang company nag-decide, siya ay iterminate na because of the sickness, it's not subject to tax sa kanyang separation pay. Disability, di ba, halimbawa, naputulan ka ng kamay, hindi ka na makapagtrabaho, binigyan ka na ng company ng separation pay, hindi ka na pinag-report, hindi subject to tax yan. Okay, yung separation pay na yan. The organization merge of the company, ano yun? Kapag nagsara yung kumpanya mo, o kaya naman dalawang kumpanya, nagsanib puwersa o nag-merging, nagkaroon ng reorganization sa company mo, binigyan ka ng separation pay, tapos ang ginawa, pumasok ka ulit doon sa bagong business name. Sabi ko nga, di ba, if the employer resigns or voluntarily terminated, that is subject to tax yung kanyang separation pay. But if the employee is involuntary availed or hindi siya nag-resign for some reason or nagkasakit ka, disability, or the company is declares bankruptcy at binayaran na lang din yung mga empleyado, that is not subject to tax. Okay? Okay, next. Okay, pension. Okay. Pension is a stated allowance paid regularly to a person or his retirement or to his dependents of his death. In consideration of past services, meritorious work age or loss or injury, sabi nga, the pension is taxable unless the law states otherwise or unless the BIR approves the pension plan of a private company. Take note ang mga pension daw, sabi nga, is taxable unless the law states otherwise. So, ibig sabihin, or the BIR approves the pension plan of a private company kasi hindi naman talaga to taxable. Kapag magiging taxable ang isang pension if the BIR or the law that there are some pension plan that can be taxable. Example, yung kinamong pension, pag sa pension plan for the private company, let's say, kumuha ka ng insurance. Diba? Ano yung tinatawag na insurance? Diba uso ngayon yung AXA, yung kumukuha ka ng mga individual mong mga retirement plans mo or pension plans mo. From the ayan yung mga tinatawag na AXA, you're just securing your future. So yung mga pension na nakukuha mo doon, na binayaran mo, that is also subject to tax. O yun yung ibig sabihin nun. Okay, next. Okay, the leave credits, the vacation and sick leave. Ito naman, ang ruling natin dito, if the vacation or sick leave availed as part of the salary, that is taxable. But if the vacation sick leave is monetized value of utilized vacation leave credits of 10 days, which were paid to private employees, government, are not taxable. Paano yun? Ganito yun. Halimbawa, sick leave muna, sick leave. Nagkasakit ka, nag-file ka muna ng leave ng ilang araw, di ba? O yung tinatawag na leave credits especially if you're a regular employee, no? Tawag dito. Let's say hindi ka pumasok sa work mo dahil nagkasakit ka, you file a sick leave. At binayaran yon, hindi nabawasan yung sweldo mo kasi you filed a sick leave as part of your benefit or a leave credit. Ibig sabihin nun, it is part of your salary. Dahil dapat nga, di ba, nung umabsent ka, binawasan ka, dahil hindi ka pumasok. But because you filed a sick leave, di ba, at nabayaran ka at hindi nabawasan yung sweldo mo, that is subject to tax. Ibig sabihin nun. Pero, same with the vacation leave. Halimbawa, nagbakasyon ka naman, nag-trip to Hong Kong ka, di ba? Ng isang buwan, meron kang 30 days sa vacation leave. So, hindi ka muna papasok sa trabaho mo kasi gusto magbakasyon sa Hong Kong. Kung meron kang 30 days na vacation leave at ginamit mo yon, pinail mo yon, hindi makakasweldo ka kasi you use the vacation leave. And that is subject to tax. Ano yung sinasabi nitong not subject to tax? Yung mga leaves. Example niyan, meron kang mga unpaid leaves na hindi ka nabayaran, na hindi mo nagamit rather, you did not import those. And those leave credits are monetized. Sabing monetized, kinonvert sa cash. Yung mga leave credits mo, take note yung mga leave credits mo na hindi mo nagamit, di ba? at ito'y kinonvert sa cash, sabi nga rito, during the year, it's not subject to income tax. Ibig sabihin nun, not taxable or not taxable. Okay, naintindihan ba yon? Kapag ang leave credit, ginamit mo, sa hindi mo pagpasok at hindi nabawasan yung sweldo mo, that is subject to income tax. But the vacation and sick leave credits, which are not used, and it is converted to cash, and it was given to the employee, this is not subject to tax. Inang maliwanag doon ha. Yung sinasabi dito. Okay, terminal leave. Ano naman to? Yung terminal leave or money value accumulated vacation and sick leave, benefits received upon the death of employee. Siyempre, yung tinatawag na terminal leave, ibig sabihin yan, di ba, namatay yung isang empleyado. Di ba, siyempre, may makukuha pa siya na, may mga leave credits pa siya. Let's say, yung tinatawag na terminal leave. Hindi taxable yon. Kapag in-include yun sa kanyang makukuha o ibibigay sa pamilya, hindi, this kind of terminal leave is not subject to tax. Hindi siya taxable. Okay, 13-month pay, ito naman. Ang 13-month pay class, that is not subject to tax. For as long as in a year, if the 13-month pay of the employee is 82,000 below. Sa loob ng isang taon, di ba, kapag ang 82,000 below ang 13-month pay mo, that is not subject to tax. But in excess to 82,000, that is taxable. Let's say, ang 13-month pay mo sa loob ng isang taon, nasa 85,000. Yung excess ng 82,000 na 3,000, that is subject to tax. Yun ang ibig sabihin nun. Pero kung hindi ka naman nakakuha ng 13-month pay na ng 82,000 above o 82,000 below lang, that is not subject to tax. Okay? Overtime pay. Overtime pay, it is a premium payment received from working beyond regular hours. Di ba? Ito yung mga nagtatawag na overtime o OT, na kung saan nag-work ka beyond 8 hours at in-approve yun ng company mo to render that. And that overtime pay is part of compensation income and therefore that is taxable. Okay? The profit sharing, ito naman yung proportionate share profit in the business received by the employee in addition to salary or wages. Ito kasi, itong profit sharing, this is not a mandated benefit. It is a discretionary benefit. Awards for special services. This is the amount received as an award for special services of employee or suggestions to employer resulting in the prevention of theft or robbery. Ibig sabihin yan, binawaran ka ng isang rewards, di ba, ng company mo, di ba? In prevention of damage to the company, di ba? Parang meron ka naging contribution, and that's a special award, and that is subject to tax. Okay, next, beneficial payments. Those are the employer's pays income tax owned by an employee, yung tinatawag na beneficial payments, the employer's pay income tax, that is also subject to tax. And the other form of compensation, and those are the fringe benefits. I-discuss natin later on yung fringe benefit in kind to rank and file employees. Okay, let's have the illustration. Okay, ito ha. Let's have the illustration ha. Ito, let us test. Okay, test. Okay. Miss Maria de la Cruz, ano tayo ha? Recitation tayo. Pero hindi, kumbaga ano lang. Di ba parang exercise lang, konti. Hindi naman ano. Miss Maria de la Cruz, reported the following income taxable for the year 2017. So, ito yung kanyang mga, take note, ito yung kanyang mga compensation incomes. Di ba? Ito ang mga compensation incomes niya for the year 2017. And Ms. De La Cruz retired at the age of 45 as of December of the current year, receiving a retirement pay of 1,000. What is the gross taxable income of Ms. Werther? Income of Ms. Werther for 2017. Dapat Ms. Maria De La Cruz to. Sige. Ngayon, let us identify what are the compensation income that is subject to tax. Sagutin nyo ako ha. You can unmute your microphones. Salary for the year. That is taxable or non-taxable? Taxable or not taxable?
Taxable.
Yes, that's taxable. Yes.
Taxable.
Okay, correct. That's taxable. Next, 13-month pay.
Taxable.
Yes,
Taxable.
that's taxable. That's in excess of 82,000. Okay. Honorarium as a speaker. Taxable or non-taxable?
Taxable.
Yes, that's taxable. Commission income or commission, taxable or non-taxable?
Non-taxable.
Non-taxable.
Commission income, non-taxable?
Taxable po.
That's taxable, di ba? Fees as a director.
Taxable.
Yes, that's taxable. Availed vacation leave pay. Taxable or non-taxable?
Taxable.
Yes, that's taxable. Bakit? Sinabi niya avail, di ba? Pag sabing avail, ginamit niya. Di ba?
Yes.
And what about the cost of living allowance? Taxable or not taxable?
Taxable.
Yes, that's taxable. So, ibig sabihin, all the compensation income of Ms. Mel de la Cruz are taxable, di ba? So, ito yung breakdown niyan. Ito yung solution. So, the total gross taxable income, di ba, of Ms. Maria de la Cruz for the year 2017, that is 1,199,000. Take note, gross taxable income pa lang ito, ha? Hindi pa dito gross pa lang to, ha? Meron pang mga deductions dito. I-discuss ni Sir Art yan mamaya. We're only determining the gross taxable income, di ba? Ibig sabihin, ito yung itatak sa kanya, pero hindi pa to tapos because in order to compute for the income tax, we must have the net income, di ba? From the deductions. Okay, next, fringe benefit. Okay, the fringe benefit, ito naman, this is a good service or other benefits, take note, provided or granted in cash or in kind by an employer to an employee. That is also addition to basic salary. Yun yung tinatawag na fringe benefits. And what are the examples of fringe benefits? Ito yan. Pabahay, that's a fringe benefit. Pwedeng lodging, pwedeng binili yung bahay, sinagot ng company. Expense account. Ano yung expense account? Yung mga ginastos ng isang rank and file o ng manager. Ano pa? Vehicle o automobile, the household personnel, yung mga maid, driver, and other, nasagot ng kumpanya, that's a fringe benefit. Interest on loan, di ba? Membership fees, dues, and expenses borne by the employer in the employee when it comes to social athletic clubs, that's a fringe benefit. Expenses for foreign travel, holiday vacation expenses, educational assistance to the employee or his dependents, life or death insurance of the non-life insurance premiums or similar amounts in excess of what the law allows. And that is a fringe benefit. And fringe benefit is subject to tax. Okay? Pero ito ang fringe benefit, meron siyang distinction ng tax treatment. Ano yung distinction ng tax treatment? Unahin muna natin yung rank and file. Diba? Ang rank and file employees, ito yung mga staffs, mga specialists. Diba? While the managerial are ito yung mga supervisor, mga managers. Pag rank and file, kapag ang kanilang compensation income, that is subject to tax. Pero yung kanilang fringe benefit, subject to scheduler rate tax. Ibig sabihin, yung kanilang fringe benefit, kapag sinama doon sa kanilang compensation income, that is subject to income tax. Hindi siya counted as fringe benefit tax. Kasi meron tayong tinatawag na fringe benefit tax bukod sa income tax na binabayaran. Pag rank and file, kung ano man yung fringe benefit niya na binigay ng company sa kanya, basta rank and file, basta it is included, it is added to the compensation income of the rank and file, that is also subject to income tax o gross taxable income. Ang rank and file ay hindi inokolektahan ng fringe benefit tax. For as long as yung mga fringe benefit na to ay included sa compensation, sa gross compensation income ng rank and file. Sa managerial, ito ang pagkakaiba. Lahat ng fringe benefit ng managerial, that is subject to fringe benefit tax. Dahil yung mga fringe benefit tax na ito o fringe benefit na managerial ay hindi sinasama sa gross taxable income. Kaya nga tinawag siyang not part of the gross taxable income. It's separated. Iyan ang distinction ng tax treatment ng rank and file at ng managerial or supervisory. Okay? That is the difference or the distinction. Take note that the fringe benefit of the rank and file is not subject to fringe benefit tax for as long as it is included in the gross compensation income and that is subject to income tax. While the managerial or supervisory, the fringe benefit is subject to fringe benefit tax and is not part of the gross taxable income. Okay, look at this. Oh. Ito, exercise tayo ulit. Okay, during the taxable year, take note during the taxable year, Mr. Juan de la Cruz as an employee of ABC Company received the following. Ito yung mga ano niya. The monthly salary, 40,000. The monthly allowance of 5,000 for household expenses and a car with a fair market value of 8,000. So what are the requirements? Determine the compensation income and fringe benefits subject to fringe benefit tax for each of the following assumption. Ito yan Sabi, ang kukunin daw natin yung compensation income at fringe benefits that's subject to fringe benefit tax. Okay, the case 1 is if Mr. Juan de la Cruz is a rank and file employee. So ano rito yung compensation income ni Juan de la Cruz as rank and file? Okay, kindly unmute your microphones. Sino pwede sumagot? Compensation income.
45,000.
Yeah, okay. The compensation mo, yes, tama, 45,000, yes. Pero compensation income niya is 40,000, the monthly salary, and the fringe benefit for the rank and file is 5,000. And meron tayong ruling, tama yung sinabi niya. Diba, pag rank and file, the fringe benefit
Plus 5,000.
Plus 5,000, that is included to the compensation income. So therefore, the compensation income is 45,000. Okay, tama.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, what if Mr. Juan de la Cruz is a supervisory position? So what is the compensation income?
845,000.
What's the compensation income?
845,000.
What's the compensation income? Pag supervisory, managerial, magkano yung compensation income niya? Di ba ang compensation income niya 40,000. Magkano yung fringe benefit niya na subject to fringe benefit tax? Di ba 805,000? Di ba managerial? Don't be confused. Diba? Sabi nga, ang fringe benefit ng managerial at compensation is separate. And the fringe benefit of a managerial is subject to fringe benefit tax and it is not included to the gross taxable income. So, lumalabas ang compensation income ni Mr. Juan de la Cruz,
805.
Hindi. Compensation muna, 40,000, di ba? While the fringe benefit is 805,000.
1,000.
Yun. Malinaw yun, ha? Okay, ito. Ito yung continuation naman natin. Ito yan, ha? Ngayon, let us compute for the fringe benefit tax. Ito naman. Paano ba kino-compute ang fringe benefit tax class? Ito yan, ha? This is how we compute the fringe benefit. Diba? Sa managerial, sabi nga, that the fringe benefit is subject to fringe benefit tax or the final tax. How do we get the, what you call this, the fringe benefit tax? Una, ang gagawin muna natin, for whatever the value of the fringe benefit, it should be divided to the gross up monetary value or the gross up monetary rate. Itong gross up monetary rate na nakikita nyo, ito yung di-divide natin yung value, take note yung value ng fringe benefit ito sa gross up monetary rate. And then we're going to multiply the fringe benefit tax rate after we divide the value of the fringe benefit to the gross up monetary value. But please take note of this, yung mga rate na to. Alam ko medyo confusing to, no? I-distinguish ko to, ha. Pag sinabing RC, resident citizen, kasi naka-abbreviate, baka for your knowledge siya, pag NRC, non-resident citizen. Pag RA, resident alien. O, ano yung sabihin ng resident alien? Hindi siya citizen ng bansa pero nandito siya para magtrabaho. And the non-resident alien engaged in trade and business. Yun yung NRA-ETB. Pag NRA-NETB, ang tawag dyan, non-resident alien not engaged in trade and business. O, pag sabing not engaged in trade and business, maaring sa services. At yung SAFE, ito yung special alien formally employed. O, diba? Meron pang non-resident at special alien. Itong special alien formally employed, ito yung mga nagtatrabaho sa mga offshore banking. O, yan. At ito yung mga tinatawag na fringe benefit tax rate and the gross up monetary rate in order to compute for the fringe benefit tax. Okay, ito naman, meron tayo ritong example, illustration ulit, para maintindihan natin. Okay. During the taxable year, Mr. Uzumaki Naruto, bongga naman ito, an area manager of Ninja Council Academy, received of the following in addition to his annual salary of 800,000. O, di ba? O, meron siyang annual salary of 800,000. Ano yung mga fringe benefits niya? The cash of 120,000 for the educational assistance of his dependent children. The cash of 600,000 for a car in his own name. And free living quarters and meals with an annual value of 250,000. So, ito, ano yung requirement? Let us compute for the fringe benefit tax if Mr. Uzumaki Naruto, ito yung tatlong case, a resident citizen, a non-resident alien engaged in trade and business, and an alien or special alien individual employed by an offshore banking unit. Ito yung solution, kinompute ko para sa inyo. Kasi sa module ninyo, di ba, wala, no? Ito yung solution dyan, di ba? Para makita nyo. If Mr. if Mr. Naruto is a resident citizen, paano natin kukumputin yung fringe benefit tax niya? Yung car, di ba? 600,000. The quarter and meal allowance does 250,000 and the educational assistance 120,000. So the total fringe benefit is 970,000. Balikan lang natin to. Ano yung gross up monetary value niya? Di ba? Siya ay resident citizen. So magkano yung gross up monetary rate niya? That is 68. So 970,000, it should be divided in 68%, and it should be multiplied to the fringe benefit tax rate of 32%. So the fringe benefit tax of Mr. Naruto as a resident citizen, the final tax is 456,470.59. Yun yung solution doon, ha? Ayan, screenshot nyo na lang para makuha nyo para for your knowledge. If Mr. Naruto is a non-resident alien engaged in trade and business, ito yung number 2, di ba? Number 2. Same fringe benefit. Kapareho lang din siya ng resident citizen, di ba? Pareho lang sila. Pero, pagdating sa offshore banking o tinatawag na special alien formally employed, di ba? In the corporate, magkakaiba ng tax rate. Di ba? Bakit? Ano sinabi dito? Diba? Pag dito papasok yung pangatlong case, the gross of monetary value is 85% and the fringe benefit tax rate is 15%. So therefore, ang fringe benefit tax diba ni Mr. Naruto as an individual work in offshore banking is 171,176.47. So yan yung kanyang tawag dito. Ay, sorry ha. Ito yung tinatawag na kanyang, what do you call this? Fringe benefit tax. Okay, Ito naman, by the way, may tanong ba kayo? Bago tayo mag-proceed sa income from business and profession, those are the compensation income. May tanong?
Po.
Naintindihan nyo ba yung computation? Naintindihan?
Yes po.
Class gross income pa lang to, wala pa tayong deduction. Later, kay Sir Art naman natin malalaman yung deduction, nagde-deduct sa gross income. Pero at least, alam niyo kung paano niyo i-distinguish yung mga gross income as taxable at non-taxable. Maliwanag ba yon?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's proceed now. Okay. Let us proceed now to the gross income from business and profession. So yung mga yon, ang tawag doon ay gross compensation income. So what is the gross income from business and profession? O sabi dito, these are the income from the conduct of trade or business or the exercise of profession. O pag sabi exercise of profession, if you are a doctor, if you are a lawyer or an engineer, and you engage in the professional service and you receive income from the services, at yun ang income, gross income from profession. And that the gross income from business and profession may arise from the sale of products or services. Kasi ang services, binibenta naman din yan, di ba? Especially the consultation services of the doctors, the lawyers, and the engineers. Binibenta rin nila yung kanilang services. So that is also income from profession. And what are the examples? Ito na nga sinabi ko, the fees received by professional person, di ba? And the rents received by a person in the real estate business. And what is the classification of gross income from the business? The gross income from the business is classified into several groups, namely from the manufacturing, the merchandising, and servicing. Yan yung mga business income from the business. Pag servicing, di ba, sa mga parlor, sa mga gym, di ba, those are the business that render service, yung mga facilities, yung service nila. If their client paid for the services from using the facility of the gym, that's a service. Yun. Merchandising, buying and selling. Bumili ka ng mga produkto, tininda mo. Nakabenta ka, that is income from the sale, that's merchandising. That is business income. Manufacturing, you produce a product and then binenta mo at nabenta mo yung mga produkto na ginawa mo, di ba? That's an income from the business. Yun. Okay, another form of income is the rent income. Pag rent income naman, it refers to the earnings derived from the leasing out of real or personal property. Ito naman yun ha. Ang rent income, kapag nagpapaupa, ito naman yung earnings o kinita mo na sa pagpapaupa. Di ba? The amount of taxable rent income shall be summed up the following. Paano ba nagde-declare ng taxable income sa rent? Una muna, there should be a current or lease payment. Sabihin, merong nangungupahan at nakakatanggap ka ng bayad sa upa. That is subject to taxable income. Pati yung mga deposit, the advance rent payment or deposit without restriction. Kung sabihin without restriction, pag walang pinagbabawal. Diba? Nagbigay ka ng 2 months advance, 1 month deposit, walang restriction. Basta nagbigay lang ng advance payment. Diba? That is part of the rent income subject to tax. Pero pag may restriction, ang advance rent payment or security, that is not subject to tax. Yun. Payment of the lessee to third parties in behalf of the lessor. Ano yung ibig sabihin nito? Payment daw to ng lessee. Diba? Sabihin yung mismong nang umupa. Binayaran niya yung interest. Sa upa. Diba? Sa third party. Taxes. Loan, o kung may utang man yung, o kumbaga yung pag merong yung mismong uupa hindi nabayaran yung paano ba to? Loan. Kapag yung isang uupa, sasaluhin niya yung pinapaalis nung landlord o ng lessor, o di ba siya sasalo nun. That is also subject to income sa part ng lessor o yung landlord. The uncollected rent income earned already at the end of the period o yung tinatawag na accrued net income, rent. Pag accrued rent income, ito na yung hindi mo pa man nakokolekta, hindi ko pa man nababayaran nung umuupa, pero natapos na yung period, dineclare mo na siya as income. That is subject to tax. And income from leasehold improvements. Yung income mo, ibig sabihin, yung may improvement o nagpa-renovate ka ng building o ng property, di ba? That's also part of your income that is subject to tax. Okay, let's have the illustration here. Let's have the illustration here. Mr. Ruben Padilla leases 2 rooms of her 3-story commercial building to Ms. Mariel Rodriguez on January 1 of the current taxable year. The lessee, as agreed, shall make the following payments. Sino yung umuupa? Sino yung nagpapaupa rather? Sino? Si Ruben Padilla, di ba? Sino yung nangungupahan? Si Mariel Rodriguez. Ito yung mga binayaran ni Mariel Rodriguez, di ba? Ito yon. Kay Ruben Padilla, di ba? Ito yung the monthly rental, the security deposits, annual real estate tax, and annual premium of car insurance. Ito. what is the gross rent income of Mr. Ruben Padilla if case number 1, advance rent with restriction? O, ito, isa-isahin natin. Ano rito yung mga taxable rent income? Pag advance rent with restriction, monthly rental, taxable ba? Hindi.
Taxable.
Taxable, yes.
Yes.
What about security deposit?
Taxable.
Hindi. Take note, number 1 tayo. Ito, with restriction. Pag may restriction, di ba, hindi siya kasama. Okay,
Taxable.
Ang una muna dito, yung nakalagay, di ba, number 1, advance rate with restriction. So, hindi kasama sa security deposit. What about the annual real estate tax? Rent income taxable o hindi? Yes, that's taxable. What about the annual premium par insurance? Taxable, hindi? Yes, that's taxable. So therefore, kapag advance rate with restriction, ang hindi lang kasama dito, yung security deposit. While the other one, if the advance rent without restriction, all of this payment of Ms. Maria Rodriguez to Ruben Padilla, as part of the income of Mr. Ruben Padilla, pag without restriction, all of these are subject to tax. Yun yan, So, ito yung difference. Ito yun. Ayan. Ito yung with restriction. Ito yung without restriction. Okay? So, pag may mga computation, bago tayo mag-compute, dapat alam natin yung mga rulings, di ba? Kaya dapat iisa-isa mo muna yung mga data. Taxable ba to? Hindi. Di ba? Pag alam mo taxable yan, isama mo. Pag hindi taxable, slash mo, excluded siya. Yun. Ganun muna ang gagawin doon para maintindihan natin. Okay, next, the leasehold improvements. Ano naman yung sa leasehold improvements? These are additions or improvements of major renovation of existing property in order to improve the current condition of the property lease out. Actually, class, kasi meron tayong dalawang method ng computing the income from the leasehold. Tingnan mo income from the leasehold. Sabihin nga yung improvement, yung pag-renovation. Ito yung una dyan, the outright and the spread out. Pag outright method, class, the income from the leasehold improvements shall be recognized. Take note, ito yung outright. Yung income from the leasehold improvements shall be recognized when the improvement of the said property is completed. Ibig sabihin, yung renovation daw na kumpleto na, di ba? At its fair market value. While the spread out method, na sinasabi rito, the book value of the leasehold improvement at the end of the lease is spread over the term and lease, and it should be reported the income each year of the lease. Pag sabing spread out, di ba, isabi niya nakakalat. Di ba? Isa, binulto niya. So, papakita ko dito yung example dito. Ito, look at this. The illustration. Mr. Juan de la Cruz rented a vacant lot of Mr. John D. for a term of 20 years. The lessee agreed to pay the monthly rental of 55,000 in addition to real property tax of 7,000. Mr. de la Cruz constructed a building on the leased property. A total cost of 5,500,000 with estimated useful life of 50 years without residual value. As part of the agreement, it will become the property of Mr. D at the expiration of the lease of the contract. When the building was completed and the contract became effective, the fair market value of the improvement was 7.5 million. Paano natin kukumputin to? Compute for the gross income from rental of Mr. John D for the taxable year using the outright. Actually, itong outright na to, itong ABC, ito sa spread out yan hindi sa outright, no? Etong solution dyan. Etong solution dyan. Sabi nga, di ba, sa outright, di ba, upon the completion of the improvement, it should be the fair market value, it must be included. Ito yon. Paano ba kinompute yung total income to be reported in the outright ng leasehold improvement? The fair market value, di ba, which is the 7.5, and the annual rental. Ang sabi kasi dito, 55,000 is the monthly. So we divide it to 12 months, that is 660,000. So the total income to be reported is 8,160,000 as the income taxable for the leasehold improvements. Sa spread out, iba ang computation. Ito siya. Paano kinumpito sa spread out? Sabi nga, di ba, kapag hindi pa kumpleto yung improvement, yung renovation, ganito ko computin. The cost of the building, di ba? The 5.5 million less the accumulated depreciation. Paano kinumpit yung 2.2 million? The cost of the building divided by the lifespan of the building, di ba, which is the 50 years, multiply the 20 years, which is the year of the contractor, di ba? 20 years na mangungupahan si Mr. De La Cruz, di ba? So, thus we divide that, 2.2. And then the book value of improvement, so 5.5 less 2.2, that is 3.3 million. And this 3.3 million should be divided to the term of lease, which is the 20 years. So the annual income on leasehold improvement, that is 165,000, and add the annual rent income of 660,000. So therefore, the total annual income from this is 825,000. So yun yung difference ng dalawang computation ng leasehold improvements in the outright and the spread out method. Okay, ito. Sa leasehold improvement naman, ito naman what if there is a losses? Ito sabi rito, if the leasehold improvement is destroyed by the fire, typhoon, earthquake, or unexpected event or fortuitous event, the lessor is entitled to deduct as loss. Ibig sabihin, pwede siya mag-declare ng loss, diba, from the income. O ibawas doon yung loss, diba, para hindi siya mataksan. Not subject to tax. If the leasehold improvement is destroyed by fire, typhoon, earthquake, or masabi rito, with insurance or without insurance, the lessor is entitled to deduct as loss from the income. It's not subject to tax. But if that lease term has been terminated, ito naman, kapag daw yung lessee terminate ng maaga, di ba, may kontrata sila sa lease, hindi natapos yung kontrata, terminate lang siya. The lessor will recognize the additional income for the said leasehold. So look at the case 1. Ito same illustration pa rin to ha. Same illustration. Ito lang yung case 1. Assume that the lessor using the outright method for the improvement and destroyed by the fire, pero walang salvage value at walang insurance. Magkano ang deductible loss? Ito. 6,840,000. Kasi outright Ang gagawin lang natin, yung fair market value, iles mo lang yung annual income, di ba? Ito na yung loss on leasehold improvement. Yun lang kinukuha. Pag walang insurance and salvage value. Kasi pag outright kasi wala naman salvage value. Ito naman, case 2. Same illustration. Ang case 2 naman, what if ginamit natin spread out method? And the building was destroyed by the end of 15 years with a salvage value of 75,000 and recoverable amount of 175,000 from the insurance company. So how do we compute that? Ito siya. Ito naman, ito yung reported rent income. Paano nakuha tong 165, di ba? Itong 165, dito yan nakuha class dito ha. Balikan natin yung spread out natin. Ito. The annual income from leasehold. Ito yon, 165. Siyempre, hindi natapos, diba? Ang gagawin lang natin, sabi nga, 15 years, diba? Kung ano yung term, na kung saan lang siya, hanggang doon lang ilang years lang yan na-render yung income from the less, diba? Ito yun, 15 years. Going back, diba? Ito yun, 15 years, the salvage value. So, 165,000 times 15 years, that's 2,475,000, less the salvage value of 75,000 and the insurance collected 175, that's 250. So the loss on hold, that is 2,225,000. So ito yung solution do sa case 2. Di ba? Yun. Ito yun. Okay, sa case 3 naman, assume that the lessor was using spread out method and terminate the lease agreement at the end of the 15 year. Ito naman, nag-terminate lang, di ba? Due to failure, sabihin hindi na siya nakakabayad ng upa. Si lessee, terminate niya ng maaga. So what is the addition? Syempre, pag in this case, di ba, sabi nga, kapag hindi nakabayad ng upa, may additional income pa na pwedeng makuha si lessor, di ba, as part of their deductible, No, as part of their taxable income. Ito yun. So the cost of building, kinumpit lang natin sa spread out. Ito yun, di ba? Ito, less depreciation, paano na ko itong 1,650,000, di ba? Ito, the cost of building divided by the lifespan, 50 years, divided by the term na kung saan, di ba, yung term na na-render na nung lessee, which is the 15 years. Di ba? Kasi ang kontrata is 20 years. But since only 15 years that the lessee rendered, subscribe the services rather, not rendered, subscribe, 15 years, i-multiply lang natin. Kaya doon nakuha yung 1,650,000. And so the book value of the building for 15 years is 3,850,000. Yan. Less reported income from the leasehold improvement, di ba? Yun yung 2,475, di ba? 165,000 times 15 years, ililess natin. Ito pa yung additional income for the year. That is subject to tax for the leasehold improvement, 1,375,000. Okay? So that will be the leasehold improvements. Next, gains from dealings in property. Ito naman, capital gain tax naman to. Ito naman yun. What are the gains from dealing in property? The sale of assets and exchange of assets. So how do we determine the gain loss from the dealings in property? Ito yung computation para makuha natin yung capital gain or capital loss. The selling price less the cost, ito yung capital gain that is subject to tax. O kaya pag exchange of property, the fair market value less the cost, that is the capital gain that is also subject to tax. But take note of this, klasa, take note when it comes to the dealings in the property. Pag ordinary assets, that is part of the gross taxable income subject to scheduler tax rate or the basic tax. Yan yung tinatawag na gross taxable income. Kapag capital assets, pag sa capital assets, it is not used in the business, this is not part of the gross taxable income. That is subject to capital gains tax or the final tax. Ito yung pinag-usapan natin na capital gains tax ha. Kapag ordinary assets, that's part of the gross taxable income, while the capital assets, that is part of the capital gain tax or the final tax. And then the passive income, basta itong mga passive income na to, those are the interest generated from the investment. And lahat ng ito ay subject sa tax. Di ba? Yan, interest income, royalty income, prices and winnings, di ba? Dividends, capital gains. Yan. Pero, meron tayong mga tinatawag na other non-taxable income. No? Ito, prizes and awards. Kapag ito ay galing sa mga religious, charitable institutions, prizes and awards, di ba? That is not subject to tax. Benefits received from the residing Philip in the US, that is not subject to tax. The benefits received from the SSS, GSIS, not subject to tax. Yan lang yan. Ito yung mga other non-taxable income. Sabihin, it's not part of, it's not subject to tax. Di ba? Ano pa? Compensation income. Ito, na-explain ko na to. Di ba? Pag honoraria naman, di ba? Ito yung tinatawag na statutory minimum wage. Di ba? That is not subject to tax. Pero yung benefits in excess to 82,000, ito ngayon sa 13-month pay, that is subject to tax. Ano pa? Yun na, at 13-month pay, ito na rin yun. Ano naman yung de minimis benefits? Ang de minimis benefits, di ba? Ito yung mga benefits which is not subject to tax, pero in excess to the de minimis benefit or in excess to that, that is subject to tax. Ayun lang. Ayan na, ayun ang cycle. The excess of the minimis benefits, di ba? That is taxable. Ito, exercise na lang to. Ito, compute for the, taxable income. Isa-isayin natin dito. Ano yung taxable income ni Mr. Juan de la Cruz? Ito, di ba? The minimum wage. Ano pa? Ano pa? Overtime. The hazard, and 2,000, that is the taxable income. Yun. Wait. Case 2, ano naman dito yung non-taxable? Ano yung non-taxable? The transportation allowance is not taxable, di ba? Ito yung non-taxable, yun lang. So, yun. So, that will be, di ba, the lecture natin. That is the inclusions from the gross income.